We're now just 12 hours away from what might be the official end of the season for the Golden State Warriors, and things are heating up fast. After falling to the Timberwolves in a tough series, losing 4 games to 1, all eyes are now on the future of this squad. The big question that everyone keeps asking is simple. What happens next? Will Giannis stay? Or are we about to witness a blockbuster move that will shake the NBA? Inside sources are already leaking bits and pieces of what might unfold, and trust me, it's going to be a wild offseason for the Warriors. The conversation doesn't stop there. What are we going to do with guys like Butler, Draymond, and Steph? This core has been through so much, but with every passing year, the whispers of change get louder. Are we talking about a complete teardown? Maybe a few trades to reshuffle? The deck? Or is it time to rethink how this roster is constructed while keeping the main pieces intact? Leading these tough decisions is Mike Dye Jr., a name that's been heavily involved in steering this process. The updates are coming in by the minute, whether it's during the regular season, deep in the playoffs, or now as the offseason looms. Large! That's what makes following this team so addictive. It never stops evolving. Just last night, a phenomenal post-game analysis and season wrap-up was shared, providing a deep dive into how the year played out. If you haven't checked it out yet, it's worth your time. But today we shift gears. One of the key areas of focus is the player evaluations, and you can bet that Brandon PMKI's performance is front and center in these discussions. His second year didn't quite live up to the hype of his rookie season, with noticeable inconsistencies that could directly impact both his contract negotiations and his value in potential trade talks. This is the kind of stuff that front offices scrutinize to the smallest detail. As we venture deeper into off-season territory, several other layers come into play. Who do we target in the draft? What free agents could fit the mold? And which current? Players are likely on their way out. Summer league, free agency, possible departures. The list of things to monitor is endless. For Warriors fans, this is a pivotal moment. So we're going to dissect all these moving parts and figure out where this team might be heading. A follow-up video will also be dropping later, giving a more reflective look at the season and its broader implications. For now, let's take a moment to thank everyone who's been with us from the start. Your support has been incredible. And for those who recently joined, welcome aboard. This community thrives on passionate discussions, and the ride ahead promises plenty more. Now, when it comes to big roster changes, the latest indications suggest that the Warriors are not aiming for a full-scale rebuild. Instead, the focus seems to be on tweaking the rotation around their core players, and honestly, that approach makes sense. Look at Jimmy Butler's contract. We're talking about $120 million over 2 years. That's a hefty commitment, leaving very little wiggle room financially. With Steph, Draymond, and Klay, though Klay is no longer part of the team, all earning significant salaries, the front office has to be smart and strategic. Let's talk numbers. Currently, one player on the roster is set to make around $20 million, but projections show that figure skyrocketing to $59 million next season. Another player's deal sits at approximately $54 million, while a third is bringing in $25 million. Do the math. That's $170 million tied up in just a handful of players. Considering the salary cap constraints, this chunk represents somewhere between 60 to 70% of their cap space. Add in a cap deficit of $6 million, and you start to see the uphill battle this team faces in terms of flexibility. On the financial side, there's some breathing room when you look at the apron tax thresholds. The first apron tax kicks in at $24 million, while the luxury tax threshold sits at $16 million. So yes, there's a little space to maneuver, but not much. The real challenge lies in managing outgoing players. Some are heading into free agency, and while re-signing them is an option, the bigger question is whether these are the right players to bring back. One of the most pressing concerns revolves around a veteran center whose role diminished significantly over the season. While he still holds value as a defender, his offensive limitations and declining lateral quickness raise valid concerns. His ability to grab rebounds is still there, but his finishing around the rim has left much to be desired. The team must weigh whether there's a better alternative available, perhaps a younger, more versatile big who can defend the paint and stretch the floor offensively. Injuries have clearly taken a toll on this player's agility, making this a crucial decision point for the front office. Beyond that, we must consider the chemistry and locker room presence. This veteran is beloved by fans and is seen as a glue guy behind the scenes. But as harsh as it sounds, sentimentality cannot dictate roster moves if the goal is to compete for a championship. Are there other options on the market that can bring similar leadership qualities while offering more on-court impact? These are the difficult conversations that need to happen. Looking at players still under contract, there's one in particular with 2 years remaining on his deal. His contributions fluctuate. Sometimes he lives up to the investment, other times he falls short, especially in high-stakes games. Meanwhile, other young talents are still on rookie contracts, with one restricted free agent becoming a focal point of off-season strategy. If another team throws a substantial offer his way, the Warriors could find themselves in a financial bind, making it harder to build out the rest of the roster. Depth has already been an issue, and any misstep here could exacerbate that problem. The question then becomes, do you mortgage future assets for a chance to bring in a marquee name? Are there enough young, promising players to sweeten a potential deal without gutting the roster? Could a trade package involving a future cornerstone be worth the gamble, knowing it might backfire down the line? Balancing the present with the future is a tightrope walk, and for a team like Golden State, already constrained by hefty salaries, the margin for error is razor thin. Imagine a scenario where 4 players are each earning between $25 to $50 million annually. That kind of top-heavy salary structure leaves little room for bench depth. We've already seen the consequences of this. When a key player goes down, the team's performance plummets. Just look back at the 4 straight losses to Minnesota. Banking on health is a risky strategy, and it's clear that the Warriors are keen on avoiding that pitfall moving forward. Rather than chasing another superstar at the cost of their future, the team appears to be leaning towards strategic acquisitions, complementary pieces that can bolster the existing core without compromising flexibility. That's why they've set their sights on players who can immediately contribute without the blockbuster price tag. Depth, shooting consistency, size on the wings, and interior defense are the primary needs right now. You saw how the lack of size affected their ability to contain the Timberwolves. It's a glaring weakness that needs to be addressed. Reflecting on this past season, it's incredible to think how far the team has come. Remember, early in the year, the Warriors kicked things off with an impressive 12 wins and just 3 losses. Then came the slump, a brutal stretch that saw them hovering around a 500 record. The turning point? The return of a key player in February, which sparked a resurgence. Suddenly, they were winning series 7-2 and climbing back into playoff contention. But once again, the fragility of their depth was exposed when injury struck at the worst possible time. That's why this offseason feels so crucial. Every move, every contract, every draft pick could tip the scales one way or another. The owner even admitted that just reaching this point feels like a minor victory, given where the team stood mid-season. No one expected them to be in the mix after falling to such a low spot in the standings. And yet they fought their way back, even though they eventually fell short. The absence of their best player, one of the all-time greats, made a massive difference. Hypotheticals are easy. What-if scenarios will always spark debate. But the reality is this team gave everything they had under the circumstances. Looking ahead, the speculation is only going to intensify. Will we see significant trades? Will they target specific draft prospects? Could there be surprise free agent signings? Every possibility is on the table. But one thing is certain, the Warriors are not planning a drastic overhaul. Instead, they're looking to fine-tune, to build smarter around the trio of stars that still have gas left in the tank. That's the path they believe gives them the best shot at competing again without sacrificing long-term stability. Before we continue, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Dubs updates. Let's keep going. In a surprising turn of events that has stirred the NBA world, Kevin Durant made headlines this week with an unexpected and heartfelt tribute to his former teammate Stephen Curry. The statement came during a recent podcast interview where Durant was asked about the best player he's ever played with. Without hesitation, the Phoenix Suns forward responded, "Steph Curry is not just the greatest shooter we've ever seen. He's one of the smartest, most unselfish, and hardest working players I've ever shared the court with." Durant's comments have shocked many, especially considering the turbulent narrative that has surrounded his departure from the Golden State Warriors in 2019. The split, though reportedly amicable, was clouded by media speculation about locker room tensions and conflicting egos. Yet Durant's recent praise seems to put those rumors to rest. At least from his perspective, he went on to elaborate saying, "People don't understand how much Steph sacrifices. He could average 40 if he wanted to, but he plays the right way. He doesn't care about stats. He cares about winning." These remarks have sent shockwaves across social media and sports talk shows, with analysts revisiting Durant and Curry's dynamic during their 3-year partnership in Golden State, a period that produced 2 NBA championships and 1 MVP award for Durant. The recognition is particularly meaningful as it comes at a time when both players are cementing their legacies in different ways. Curry continues to dazzle with the Warriors, redefining the role of a point guard well into his mid-30s, while Durant remains one of the league's most lethal scorers, still chasing another championship ring. What makes Durant's statement so compelling is its sincerity. Known for his competitive fire and occasional tension with the media, Durant didn't mince words. His respect for Curry seemed genuine and long overdue. In a league often dominated by rivalries and egos, such public appreciation between superstars is rare and refreshing. Fans from both camps are now taking a second look at the Durant-Curry era, perhaps with a new sense of appreciation. Whether or not this will open the door for a future reunion remains pure speculation. But for now, Durant's words have reminded the basketball world of just how special that partnership truly was. Stay updated exclusively with the latest dub. Nation News. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep getting daily updates on the Warriors. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. Your input is essential for the Dubs community. Stay tuned for the next video.